Hello! It's time for me to share one of my most deepest, darkest, saddest stories that I have held inside and not told anyone in over 15 years. That's right, I broke my ass. It's not something I'm proud of, and I'm only making this video to make sure that this happens to no one else. I was young, I was foolish, and this could happen to anyone. Do you know where your ass is right now? You have to be aware at all times. Otherwise, you run the risk of experiencing the same pain I did long ago. I'm making this video because I made a promise. In a video a couple years ago, I said, I admitted that I broke my ass. I'll tell people in the future about this story. And I finally gathered enough courage, I finally gathered enough strength to tell my story about how I broke my ass. I really appreciate it. People gave me the respect and support for doing this. It's not easy to talk about, but I will do my best to stay strong throughout this video. When I was 15 in Sweden, I was an awkward Swedish, weird, underdeveloped little child. That's right, everyone. I used to be the short kid. You think I'm insecure about my height for no reason? This has nothing to do with the story. I'm just giving context. I didn't like interacting with people. I would prefer to just sit home and play video games. I know, the perfect cliche of a nerdy kid. Nevertheless, during summer, we didn't have a computer at our summer place. I had a completely different friend group there. There was basically, internet was non-existent. So I had no other choice but to hang out and socialize with people. So even though I was a weird, awkward kid, 2 months a year, I became a normal Swedish boy. I became a summer child and actually went out partying and did all the stuff you do. So one week during summer, it's called Sailing Week, I think, where everyone or a lot of people rent a boat. They go sailing and they go from harbor to harbor and they get drunk and party. So me and my friends rented a sailing boat all together. Well, I think I was 15. I don't know exactly how old I was. But me and my two closest friends, we rented a boat to do basically just this. I don't know why my parents thought this was a good idea. I definitely would not let my kids do this, especially in mind with what we did. I'm not gonna go into details. But I know what you're thinking. Wow, Felix, you have so many amazing talents. You must be really good at sailing. Oh yeah, I was actually a sailing instructor at one point. Not really. I mean, I was a sailing instructor, but I was goddamn awful at sailing. I really just got the job thanks to my mom. Thanks, Mom. I remember during so it was basically me and a bunch of really young kids. And then during the beginning of the course, we asked, like, who wants to sail with Felix? And all the kids went, yeah, me. And I'm like, yay, I'm finally popular with kids. Kids like me, this is great. And then at the end of the course, they asked the same question, who wants to sail with Felix today? No one. Complete silence. No one wanted to sail with me. All the kids hated me because I wasn't good at sailing and we kept capsizing and I kept lashing out on all the kids because they sucked at sailing. And how is that my fault? I'm just the instructor. I also won one sailing competition once, which wasn't really a sailing competition, but it's one of those things that I carried with me throughout these 15 years and go, yeah, I'm good at sailing. I'm not good at sailing, and I'm willing to admit that. Nevertheless, we went sailing, me and a couple friends, and it was a great time. We partied, and that was it. The problem is, I get really motion sick or seasick, and anyone that gets seasick, you know how awful it is. It stays with you until you get out of the boat. It doesn't leave you for all this time. And it seems impossible to get rid of. You just want to die, and it's not a good feeling. I didn't like the feeling, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna come prepared. So I bought this motion sickness tablets, which is supposed to help with it, but they came with 2 side effects that I was not intending for. Number 1, it made me extremely sleepy. For some reason, we had these weird regulations in Sweden where with drugs, I guess. We don't really have sleeping pills like in America. A lot of times what doctors do is that instead of giving you sleeping pills, they say, hey, just take these motion sickness tablets. They do the same thing. And I didn't know about this. So I remember one of the days during the sailing week, it was so stormy outside. I remember looking outside and be like, oh my God, I'm gonna die from seasickness if I go out on this. So I just downed a bunch of these motion sickness tablets, being like, it's not gonna happen to me. Yeah, I basically just drugged myself as hard as I could. Completely passed out. I don't know how long I was out, but I remember I was waking up way later in the evening, being super confused. I didn't know where I was. I looked outside. I thought we arrived in the new harbor, realizing we didn't even leave the shore. Everyone was too afraid to sail that day, so I basically just drugged myself for no reason. But Felix, we want to hear how you broke your ass. Well, I'm getting there, okay? Papa needs some watch time. There's another symptom that I haven't mentioned yet, and that symptom is balance. That's right. Motion sickness is connected to your ear, which is connected to your balance. So I would say, or at least I like to think, that that's why my balance wasn't the pristine top condition that it's usually in. I can stand on one leg probably longer than any other person alive. I pride myself in having extremely well balanced in everything. Thanos' catchphrase, perfectly balanced as all things should be, was actually invented by me. I have amazing balance, but taking these pills, it knocked over my balance. Then we were also on this boat drinking, obviously, as we were sailing, and that knocked down a few points on my balance scale as well. And I think you know where I'm going with this. Now, sometimes when you sit down in a sailing boat, it's a little bit awkward to sit down in a sailing boat. They're kind of weirdly shaped, so it's not always the perfect place to place your butt. There's also a lot of big objects, a lot of hard objects that you could possibly fall on. I was gonna sit down, everything was fine. It was a beautiful sunny day, we were all drinking beer, alcohol free of course. I was gonna sit down, and I remember it so vividly. I can replay the whole scenario in slow motion. I was gonna sit down, and I was gonna grab my friend while sitting down, because like I said, it's awkward sitting down in a sailing boat, so I was gonna get help from my friend to sit down. But this son of a gun moved away in last second, and I remember so clearly just falling out of my grasp, my hands, knowing, oh God, whatever my ass is gonna land on, it's not gonna be beautiful. And let me tell you, it wasn't beautiful. I landed on a vinch. I don't know what that's called in English. It's basically what you rail in the sails with. And it's pretty much as uncomfortable as you can imagine. Oh, it's called winch in English. Okay. I screamed out in terror, in pain, in shock. My ass. Ah, my ass. I was completely immobilized. I couldn't move. But most importantly, I was in deep pain. It really hurts to break your ass. I wasn't sure exactly what had happened, but I knew something was wrong. So me and my friend, as soon as we came to shore, we came to harbor, we had to go to the hospital. We did the scan to confirm that yes, indeed, there was a crack in my ass. I did no longer just had one crack in my ass, I had two cracks in my ass, and that's one crack too many to have, let me tell you. I remember feeling very shocked about this. It was a very traumatizing experience and realization, and I wasn't sure what they were going to do with me. How do you treat a cracked ass? I thought maybe they would give me some sort of a bandage, kind of like a diaper or something like that. And I remember asking the nurse, what are you going to do? And she's like, well, we can't bandage your ass, can we? And I thought, yeah, I guess you can. You live and you learn. So instead, they just gave me a bunch of painkillers and sent me off, even though I had a broken ass. You know, usually when you break something, I never actually broken anything in my body. So I was actually kind of looking forward to it, because everyone, you know, when they're a kid, they break an arm, they break a leg or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, it's so sad for you, and they get all this attention, they get people riding on your bandage, and no one's gonna ride on my bandage, ass bandage. I realized all I have to deal with is the pain and suffering, and most of all, the humiliation. You break an arm, it's cool. You break an ass, it's not cool. No one thinks that's cool. No one is proud to say, hey, I broke my ass. Okay, do you think I want to be here? You think I want to tell this story? Think again. Now, the worst part of all is that Jonas, if you're watching this video, you sneaky son of a snake, Jonas, the guy that moved away when I was trying to sit down, while I was at the hospital with my other friend, Aegis, good friend at least, that doesn't tell people, Jonas told everyone. He told everyone that I had broken my ass. And everyone laughed. Haha, that's so funny. I couldn't sit straight for God knows how long. I was in pain. I was humiliated. I was hurt. Don't break your ass. Take it from me. Take good care of it. Because you never know what's going to happen to it. That's my story. Thanks for listening. Don't break your ass. What? You never played Tuber Simulator? You know it's fun, right? I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but give it a try, and then you can tell me if it's good or not. Not convinced yet? Okay. I'll cut you a deal. The game is available for free, and that's a great price.